So how do you?
And that was a revolution too, because I grew up understanding that no one would ever love me, that nobody would be attracted to me. I remember even in high school, then I considered him a really close friend, and I asked him, I said, "Do you think I would be attractive as a woman?" And he said, "No." You know, so there were these like other, there was all these hints early on, but I had a near death experience.
Mm.
Um, and when I survived that, I, asked myself what I really wanted out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it eventually led to me, like coming out as trans. And in November, it's actually like my 10-year anniversary
Oh, wow.
since then.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, and I have learned a lot. I couldn't connect with anyone romantically or sexually before my transition. And, even at the beginning of that, it was like, I learned that certain men desired my body, and like that to me was like novel and exciting, and it meant a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I
Those early
continued, and then I
validations,
realized
right.
that I'm like, I learned my own worth.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to
Well,
say.
right.
And
Well, we look
I've
for
only
them for
had one.
validation early on. It's like a validation that we need as trans women. There's a certain validation that has to happen, and we've seen it across the board.
It's interesting because it's.
But then there's a
it's
point where that validation from them isn't enough because their validation isn't true validation.
Well, see, and this is really important what Remy's pointing out and I'm speaking more to the audience here than you, Mari. What Remy and you are now talking about, this search for validation, is the flip side of tranny chasing.
Mm-hmm.
There are men out there that are going out trying to figure out themselves by having these undercover connections with trans women. And the women who match that story are the women that are looking for validation.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with the chasing dynamic, which is always two people.
Well, and that's what I keep saying. It's a dance of two, and we keep feeding one side and the other keeps feeding the other.
Yes.
If you're looking for something better, stop looking on Craigslist.
Exactly.
I think it's something that everybody goes through, actually.
It is. Even straight cis people do it.
Absolutely.
For us, you have to have that conviction, like, this is who I am, and this is my homework. This is what I have to do now. And for me, I was 19, 20 when that happened.
Yeah.
So, where I feel in some respect we're backlogged. And there's just all this other catching up that we have to do in our adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
But you also just learn a lot of things, and if you allow yourself to,
Yeah.
And that's the difference now between me when I was 21, 22. I mean, this is the other thing. It's like I said, like 25 to 45 would be my dating range, but I rarely date somebody younger than me, like very, 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 very infrequently.
And why is that?
Well, I mean, in my own life, I can only speak for myself, of course, but in my own life, I think that people change immensely through their 20s. Mm-hmm. And, whether that means they're married and they get divorced, or they have a kid, or, some major life event happens, that kind of just helps refine who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Saturn return.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh! I've been going through that myself.
Yeah, you're at that age.
Yeah. So, I see younger people or men. We're talking about men.
Yeah.
And I'm, it's not like I'm repulsed by them, but it's also like, you're going to be a different person in 5 years.
Yeah. Sorry, I was talking to Remy. Don't fall out of it.
It's okay.
So I know you said 25 to 45, but really, like the the middle portion of the curve from 25 to 45, where is it skewed more towards 45 then?
37 is like my magic number.
Okay.
Like they come to me and I say, okay. You know?
Okay. You hear that, guys?
Right
If
now,
you're
right
37,
now.
Right.
if you're not 37, you don't have a chance.
It's not true.
Oh,
Right
no,
now.
it's not true. So, okay. So tell us about this near-death experience, and then we're going to talk about Seattle.
Oh.
You know, before you start there,
Sure.
I just wanted to say something. You know, she said that, you know, that she started to have her life-changing experiences, epiphanies and whatever around 19 and 20. You know what I mean? With the people that we have interviewed, most of them being in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Are all doing this early on in life. I mean, look at Samaya, look at you know, Mari. All these people have all these trans women have these amazing epiphanies, changed their lives.
V
and
did the same thing. It's interesting.
Mia.
All the women. I was going to say all of the trans women who have been on all the women who have been on the show, they have all expressed this level of maturity, and they have all talked about. They've embodied this.
Mostly all.
Who hasn't?
Some of our early guests.
Oh yeah, that's true. The very very early ones.
Some of our very
early ones. A couple of the very early ones, but most of them have been very aware of who they have been, and as a result of that, they've been very choosy in their decisions, I guess. And because of that, I think they represent what we've been talking about for the last several episodes, this kind of powerful woman that exists in the trans persona. And are you following this, Mari? You see this in yourself.
Absolutely.
So where do you think, bringing you into the conversation, because Remy and I are talking with each other, where do you think that comes from?
It comes from years of living in a black and white world and then all of a sudden living in color. It's like,
what's the black and white world?
If you play video games, it's like my life before my transition. Like there's actually memories that I've forgotten from my past. I don't know if Remy has gone through this, but like I'm just like disassociated from a lot of it. People have to remind me of like details because that wasn't really my life. You know, I was making my decisions based on what other people wanted from me, you know?
I've heard that
and
before.
That is, you know, I think a lot of adults do that, and it's a destructive lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like you realize it's like you're playing the video game and things happen to that character, right? But at the end of the day, it's not happening to you. You know, there's this like detachment, and you're just kind of just controlling this what's the word?
Avatar.
The avatar.
Yes, exactly. And you know, people say, "Oh, you know, when you were a man," but it's like, "Honey, I was never a man. I was a woman always." And people are like, you know, "Oh, you're being a how do you say? Oh, what's the other word?" Like you're trying to mock women, or like, you know, be a model of. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like you're trying to be a paradigm, or I can't find the right word for some reason, but it's like I know it's coming to me.
It'll come to
you. But it's a caricature.
Yeah.
A caricature of women, but it's like, no. Before transition, I was being a caricature of a male.
I've heard that often.
Yeah, that's kind of like what Shannon used to say.
Yeah, that is what Shannon used to say.
My experience is a little different. We've talked about this before, so I don't relate completely on that, but I've heard it and I completely understand it, you know, absolutely.
So when you go so long not, you know, being disassociated and go so long feeling like you'll never be loved, that you don't belong, and then you realize like, oh yeah, fuck yes, I do belong and I do matter. I can do things and I can be happy. And it's just like this, it's like the possibilities become endless when you realize that.
Well, and you can see how the world around you has grown to kind of accommodate who you become, right? Because even in so small as a community, if I may call it small,
not in Texas.
Well, no, but in the small community of your choir profession, even, it's reflecting that. And so, I mean, eventually, I mean, Texas currently is going through its own growing pains around this. And I think we're going to see Texas come along, because there are so many people right now in Texas who are beginning to stand up for trans rights, especially around the bathroom issue. I know you may not see it because you're in,
No,
because
I don't agree with you.
because you're in Texas, and it's hard for you to see it when there's so much evidence to the contrary. And so, when speaking of stories, if you have a powerful story such as Texans will never get it, for example, then all you see are Texans who don't get it. Meanwhile, there are plenty of people down there who are making a huge ruckus to change the way Texas is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I understand.
Yeah.
I hear your point.
Yeah. So
I really don't like it here.
I get it. And I probably wouldn't either. So,
right?
But yeah, if you,
here's for me, I got to drive.
Exactly. If not you specifically, I'm speaking more to the viewers again. If you could, for 30 days, change the story you have about physical reality, the physical world around you, be more positive. Like if you could, let's take what Trump is doing in the realm of U.S. politics. I'm speaking again to the audience. If you could change for 30 days, just try on a new perspective about what Trump is doing, a new story, you will begin to see evidence of the new story you're telling yourself show up. So like what we're doing in the Transamorous Network is we're focusing on the good things that are happening as a result of Trump being in office. And there are a lot of freaking good things that are happening. It's not because of what Trump's doing. It's in spite of despite or in reaction to what Trump is doing. The world is actually becoming a better place for transgender people because Trump is the president.
Right. And you heard this on our Monday show.
Yeah.
We focus a lot on that kind of energy.
I can see that.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. The world is so huge and the universe operates with such complexity that no matter what story you're telling yourself, the universe will serve up evidence that confirms that story. So why not tell stories that are positive and optimistic? It just doesn't make sense not to, except being habitually in those negative
You're
stories.
going to see what you're looking for.
That's exactly
period.
Right.
So if it's that if you are looking for something bad, you think something horrible, it's all bad, it's all this, then that's all you're ever going to see is the evidence of it's all bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what you're looking for.
That's exactly right.
You're looking for more shit to fall. You're looking for him to do something else stupid. You're looking for him to tweet something else ignorant. You know what I mean? Yeah. Therefore, you're going to see these things and they're going to happen, But when you don't see them, you're not looking for them. It changes things.
It changes things. Yeah.
It's also really hot in Texas.
I heard that.
I need like 40s and 30s all the time.
Shimon up, girl.
I don't belong here.
It's cold right now.
Okay, back to we've got just a little bit of time left, but I really wanted to cover this near-death experience you had, and then I want to get back to, you're moving to Seattle, right? Aren't you moving to Seattle?
That's the plan.
Okay, so let's talk about that. But first,
I don't want to give too much away yet.
Okay, we don't have to talk about it at all. We'll just end the show right here. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I want to hear about the near-death experience. So what happened? What happened?
If you'd like to share.
Of course. If you don't want to share, just say I don't want to share.
So I'll just try to keep it short, though.
Okay.
I had 2 foot surgeries, and the second foot surgery, and these were like the summer before my first year in undergrad, and then the summer after my first year in undergrad, and it was the second one. So they did reconstructive surgery because my feet were extremely flat, and I always complained about it. This was a gift from my parents, and they the surgeon installed these metal bars through my foot. He essentially broke the bones and arranged them in a way that they would refuse in a more proper
into an arch.
Structure.
Yeah.
But I had to have these poles installed. My foot looked like Frankenstein's monster. For 9 weeks. Well, I had already gone through it once, the second summer, and then I had to do the other foot. And then my first night back home after that, after the surgery, they put you on like antibiotics and strong pain medication. I had something called oxycodone.
Oh, yeah.
They have to do, my parents had to do like every 4 hours with one of them and every 6 hours with another, or something like that. And this was completely an accident. My mom over-medicated me on oxycodone. She gave me twice the amount.
Oh, boy.
And whenever my parents came in to, like, I don't know what time it was, could have been like 1 a.m., to give me my next dosage, I was like not responding and my face was blue and I was essentially suffocating in my sleep. I didn't feel any pain, of course. But I woke up in the ambulance and when I woke up, like my vision, my hearing, my sense of touch, everything was like really blurry. Everything. And I remember I was going like this and I couldn't, like, well, I was like, what is this? And then at one point the paramedic said to me, you over-medicated on a narcotic. And I was like, no, I didn't. I was, more than anything, I was just confused. Well, I get to the hospital and they do their diagnostic test, and I had pneumonia in my lungs. My lungs were filling with fluid. And they said, your lungs are only working 15% on their own. We're going to have to put you on a respirator. They gave me a catheter and I was on that thing for like 24 hours and it was hell. Right. And then, mind you, I just had metal just put into my foot, and I was back in another hospital for a whole other week. And, when I was recovering in the hospital, this must have been like a few days later, I finally saw myself in the mirror for the first time, really since the incident. And it was the only day in my entire life I had grown any semblance of a beard. And even like in high school, I would like shave like intensely. A friend of mine said that I used to like my face used to be pink because of how much I did it. But I didn't recognize myself and I panicked. I said, I have to shave now. And like, it was all I could think about. But, when I got back home to recuperate from my foot surgery and everything, I started doing some research online. And that was it.
And research on, I know.
On gender identity.
I knew. Just wanted like, you to clarify for the
science and everything.
Yeah.
And I realized that I didn't know that like hormone therapy existed. I didn't know any of that.
Wow.
So,
wow, interesting.
But I learned and I was like, it was the WPATH thing.
Yeah.
I found that I was like, this is what I need.
Yeah. So up until that moment, did you up until that moment, like prior to the overdose, did you recognize yourself as transgender or did you not know what that was?
I recognized myself as trans, but I didn't have
the language,
the words for it.
Oh, I see.
I hadn't have any examples. I mean, I think everybody has Jerry Springer growing up, but it's like, that's useless.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like pornography.
Yeah.
It's like, that's useless.
Yeah.
That teaches you nothing about trans people.
Yeah.
So, you look at that and you're like, well, that doesn't exactly, I don't want to be that,
Right.
But it's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was just no examples.
Yeah.
And I had to like dig and I finally came to it and I was like, I mean, everything has gotten better. Like everything.
Very nice. So, okay. So ending the show, I want to ask you two things and be brief about them. The first thing is, so we always end the show on a positive note, talking to the audience, which is composed of mostly transamorous men, but also some trans women. We ask you, the guest, to speak to the audience. So speak to the transamorous man and tell them what you would suggest he do in order to own this aspect of who he is? Like, what would you say to a transamorous man if he was in front of you and say, "Hey, Mari, you know what? I recognize that I'm really attracted to trans women, but to be honest with you, I'm just scared as hell because I don't want to be blah, blah, blah."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that if you're concerned about labels, it doesn't really matter. I think if you're attracted to a person, you're attracted to a person. And in my own experience, I shouldn't say all, maybe 99% of the men that I ever interact with consider themselves straight. And, it doesn't, I think that's really what people are preoccupied.
Mm-hmm.
It's like misogyny and transphobia, or misogyny is transphobia, is homophobia, is, just this general fear.
Yeah.
And when you're a cishet male, going through the world, that ball of fear is real for you.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, I laugh about that.
Right.
Like, that's nothing. That really, it's just make believe. It's all in your head.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's this shame that we learn about our bodies. There's shame that we learn about, being attracted to one person or another. There's shame we have about sex, but the fact of the matter is, I like to say this too. It's like, if your idea of sex, like, is strictly coitus, like vaginal penetration, then you're doing it wrong. I don't care if you're cis or gay or bi or pan or whatever you are, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Well, that's the headline. That's the title of this show.
You're doing it wrong.
But it's like, I mean, if that's strictly, I'm not trying to say that there's anything wrong.
No,
with
I
that.
get it.
But it's, there's a prescribed life handed to you. And if you're cisgender heterosexual, a lot of people buy into that and they identify with that, even though that's not who they really are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then for trans women, so the trans women that watch this show, and a lot of their stories are like, "I'll never find a guy. There are no men out there. There's no men in my town. They're all tranny chasers.
They only want me for my body.
Blah, blah, blah." And so what would you say to those women?
I would say date locally.
What do you mean by that?
I think that for me, that was my turning point in my, I guess, dating narrative, is that I tried, the long distance thing and talked to men all across different places, and and I thought that was a real relationship, and it really wasn't at all. And I learned my lessons. There were some difficult times, but I was telling myself this story that here where I live, nobody is going to be confident enough to be with me. And I ended up being wrong when I put myself out there. And I mean, like I said, I've known for a long time I don't want to settle here.
Mm-hmm.
But allowing myself to connect with the men that are, in my city, like, really opened my mind.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And it's the thing about it is that trans attraction is extremely common, but people don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, like, I'm here and I believe in everything that y'all are doing.
Thank you, Mari.
Well, we're happy to have you here with us.
It's
been
very
great.
happy.
I've been looking forward to
Me too.
getting a chance to talk with you.
We're just like draining shame out of everything.
Yes, we are.
That's right, Mama.
So that we can just live our lives.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending this hour with us. It's been great. It was a little awkward at first because we started the way we started, but it got smooth in the middle, and now it's just wonderful.
Yes, it was a great
show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mari.
All right. And to the listeners, I was just going to shut it off, but to listeners, check out our shows on Facebook, In Your Face, every Monday evening at 7:30 Pacific
Standard Time.
And then also check out the other shows that we have online because they're wonderful. And if you're interested in being on the show, you're a trans woman or a trans attracted man, just send us an email at info@transamorousnetwork.com. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.